Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation about the implementation of a discussion-style show into the world of sports. As a quick forward before we get too far into the presentation, all sports suffer from inconsistency and controversial decisions. As such, there is a broad and general scope for this project. While examples from multiple sports will be utilised for theoretical purposes, a hypothetical of implementing this into the world of Formula 1 will be the primary focus for the purposes of this presentation. I would again like to reiterate that this project can be implemented into any sport. To give a quick overview of what this project is, this is a discussion show to talk through decisions made in sporting games with sporting officials and referees. This would not be the first styled show of its type. Examples include match officials mic'd up for the English Premier League, and it would not be the first review analysis project that Formula 1 has implemented, after they provided a clarifying debrief after the Qatar Grand Prix 2024 to further explain decisions that were made during that race. While these examples have helped them explain decisions, they have been criticised for defending the decisions instead of explaining them fairly. In this discussion show, the officials will justify the decisions that have been made, especially those controversial ones, with rules and past precedent. If there is any conflict or disagreement between the justification and prior past precedent, the officials can justify further why the decision is correct. If disagreements are still prevalent following the show, further action needs to be taken. Examples of this can include, but are not limited to, establishing new precedent or rules, putting a referee on suspension, as we have seen in the NRL, or providing an official statement to fans. This discussion show aims to provide clarity and understanding for the fans. The issue the project addresses in the general world of sport is as follows. Decisions get made in sports by officials. These decisions can be controversial, especially if they determine the outcome of a sporting event. The fans get little, if any, clarity regarding the reasoning for these decisions. As such, the fans get aggressive and exhibit toxic behaviours, especially on social media. Bringing this issue back to the world of Formula 1. Formula 1 has had multiple controversial decisions, such as the now infamous Abu Dhabi 2021 Grand Prix. Formula 1 has had scathing criticisms of the official bodies and volunteer stewards. There seems to be no consistency in the sporting decisions in Formula 1. As such, the Formula 1 fan bases have become more divided and equally have become more toxic towards each other. To provide a base on which to create this discussion show, I have looked at the implementation of a recent project in Formula 1, that being the sprint format that still exists today. The sprint format debuted in 2021. It had 3 races during the season, a point system of 3 points for first down to 1 point for third. The weekend format removed 1 free practice session to provide an additional qualifying session. The weekend format now had free practice 1 and qualifying on the Friday, followed by free practice 2 and sprint qualifying on the Saturday, with the race on Sunday as per the normal format. The normal format being free practice 1, free practice 2 Friday, free practice 3 and qualifying on the Saturday, with the race on the Sunday. It is worth noting that qualifying set the grid for sprint qualifying, and sprint qualifying set the grid for the race during the 2021 format. For comparison's sake, it is easy to compare the modern day sprint race to the sprint qualifying of 2021. 2022 did not have many changes to this format, the only major change being that the 3 events were in different locations. 2023, however, provided more significant changes. The first being an increase from 3 races to 6 races. The point system remained similar, however there were more points on offer, from 8 for first down to 1 point for 8th. The weekend format changed this year. So while Friday still had free practice 1 and qualifying now set the grid for the race on Sunday. Saturday had sprint qualifying, which set the grid for the sprint race. This change resulted in the removal of another free practice session. Now, 2024 is similar to 2022 in that there were not many changes made. It can be seen again that the 6 races were in different locations, but 2024 provided one more change to the weekend format. After criticism during the 2023 season, Formula One responded by putting regular qualifying after the sprint race. This meant that Friday had free practice 1, followed by the sprint qualifying. Saturday had the sprint race, followed by qualifying, and then Sunday, as always, has maintained its race. While there has been a significant amount of theory here, it is a solid foundation to show the implementation and change that a project undergoes over time. Relating this foundation to the discussion show project, I have allocated the first 2 quarters of 2025 to create and define the initial concept of the show. Specifically what the focus will be, such as how in-depth conversations will go, how much time is needed for the shows, and any additional admin features, such as the naming of the show, the logo of the show, the identity of the show, etc., in addition to the refining of the initial concept. During quarters 3 and 4 of 2025, this discussion show will have a trial run at 3 separate events. From there, feedback will be acquired, which will then be used in quarter 1 of 2026 to refine the concept of the show. In quarters 2 and 3 of 2026, this discussion show will have another trial run, but this time at 6 separate events. Similar to the trial run period in 2025, feedback will be acquired, and this will be used in quarter 4 of 2026 to refine the concept further. With the amount of trial runs and refinements this project would have received over 2 years, it should be ready for a full implementation in 2027. This would include a discussion show after every race, which would mean 24 discussion shows per year, which could be increased should the need to expand this discussion show to the sprint races come about. Like the sprint format, the discussion show can always use refinement even after full implementation. The benefits of this project are that it will provide increased clarity of sporting regulations and decisions, and that it will additionally aim to generate a standard of consistency among sporting decisions. By providing these, the discussion show will increase the integrity and value of the sport. It will increase the viewer enjoyment, and it also aims to reduce the social media toxicity and hatred stemming from sporting decisions. In terms of the costs for this project, Shakin outlines the operating expenses for any startup infrastructure business. While this could be as cheap as just under $250,000 it could also be as expensive as just over $4.5 million. A quick conversion to Australian dollars done prior to this recording put those figures at just under $400,000 and $7.35 million respectively. The impact of this discussion show are that it aims to provide the value of referees and decision makers in sports, in addition to holding officials more accountable for their decisions. This discussion show also aims to improve the culture and the environments surrounding the referees. As for the legacies of this sport, it could result in F1 paying their stewards. In a general sense of the sporting world, this discussion show could provide more accountability and consistency. And as a quick footnote for this project, with new features in sports, this can have an extreme level of success or failure. Formula One have tried many things to spice up the weekend format, especially around qualifying sessions. Prior to the sprint format, Formula One tried an elimination qualifying, which lasted 2 rounds before Formula One switched back to the regular format. This was poorly received by fans, unlike the sprint qualifying format, which has lasted for 4 years and will enter its 5th year in 2025. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and here are the references I used for further reading, and here's my second page of references. Thank you for your time today.